exciting to chew. Bacon fest, we're expecting you. And love, Iowa bacon love.
Oh, yes.
Mom, Dad's being weird again.
Luscious.
Honey,
So full.
it's just grass.
Oh, it's so much more than just grass. It's a healthier, greener, and more luscious lawn. Yours can be too.
Look at you.
With Kabursky Brothers Lawn Care.
Remember, no shoes on the lawn. Because you're so beautiful.
Call or click today.
Murph and Andy, proudly presented by Ramsey Subaru, live and on demand across Iowa everywhere. From the Channel Seed Studios, this is Murph and Andy. Murph and Andy, connected by cellular advantage.
It is episode 100 of Murph and Andy on Iowa Everywhere. Alongside Andy Fales in Mexico on a purple wall, I'm Keith Murphy in Beaverdale, Des Moines, and Aiden Wyatt in for Andrew Downs today. Aiden, I don't know where you are. Where are you?
Ankeny.
Ankeny. All right. Ankeny, Mexico, Des Moines. All represented in the show today. Andy, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. Everything looks good. Just like I'm back at home. My butt chin is really standing out today. Oh, geez. Hassel's going to give me a ton of crap about that.
Oh, yeah. Count on that. Are you in like a Prince museum or what's going on there?
I am in a spot in the resort that has really good Wi-Fi speed right now. That was my only, the lone prerequisite for where I was going to broadcast from today. As we know, you take the show on the road, it works, but you got to have the good internet. You got to have good Wi-Fi.
It is more important than a scenic backdrop. Like I discovered that early a couple of times when I was traveling. I was like, man, I'm going to show everybody. This will be cool. People like to see this behind me. And then you get the spotty Wi-Fi and just wherever you need to be.
Yeah, and I mean, I could turn around, there are palm trees right here and grass huts and stuff, but then I'll be all backlit. It won't look good, and the Wi-Fi won't work. So we're doing it. We're doing it from the spot where we can.
I like your strategy, though. Just leave for the Drake relays, and then you're not bummed out by the weather.
Don't worry about
the
weather.
Yeah. The weather for you this Drake relays week looks spectacular, so you're in a good place. Well done.
You know what I got here?
What do you got? Confluence?
No. I have a Corona beer, though. And I need to drink it because it's hot. It's very hot here, and this beer is going to drink itself if I don't help out.
Corona survived the coronavirus, too. Remember what unfortunate timing that was for that poor beer level? He's like, avoid Corona. What?
Well, it was like a name that you didn't want to be associated with. And,
right.
But I think everybody kind of started calling that something else. And then Corona ended up like getting a lot of people through the pandemic. They sold more beer and liquor. The liquor stores just had a field day. I think the problem is that, you know what happens when you have like one really good year and then all the corporate brass expects you to have that year every year.
Yep.
And sometimes there are just mitigating factors that are at play that you can't figure into every year. So they were like, I remember talking to Jim the Liquor King. He was like, no, we're not going to be able to do as well as we did in 2020 because everybody just bought all the liquor they could and stayed inside and drank. You can't have that year every year. You don't want to have that year every year, but I think the brass wanted it.
Yeah, Des Moines television stations, those are known as election years. Also, if your station has the Super Bowl or the Olympics. I see Andy's freezing from time to time, so we'll just see if we can get through this.
Shoot.
But we can hear him, but once in a while he's just in the frozen mode, but we have heard his voice so far. Guest House Tavern and Oyster in West Des Moines sets the table for today's Sports and More. Coming up, Shedeur Shaded, Expensive Word, and Movie Friendship, all presented by Guest House Tavern, Northwoods inspired Midwestern hospitality. Right now, high or low since our last show.
Presented by Wealth Charter Retirement Planning and Tax.
Hawkins is the guy that runs that Wealth Charter Retirement Planning and Tax, and he is open for business now. Tax season is pretty much over, and he is retirement planning right now. I'm going to go high here. You can hear me okay?
Yep.
Apologize if
We
I'm
never
freezing
lost
up.
your voice, so
Okay.
as long as the voice continues.
Well, there's not much to see anyway, so maybe it's just just as well. But I always think it's funny. You go on a vacation, and it almost doesn't matter where you go. I mean, you after you are of a certain age, you just are reminded of what a small world it can actually be. You run into, if it's not somebody that personally, which that happens too, but other times you just run into people that have these random connections to you. This is pretty distant, but I was just sitting at the bar yesterday and talking to a guy, and it turns out he was Xavier Hutchinson's high school football coach. And
wow!
So we random, but we started talking. He was talking about how much he liked Iowa State and what a positive view he had of Matt Campbell's staff and just really the whole university, and like the way that he was recruited and or the way he was taken care of while he was there. He just really, really liked it. He didn't. I don't know that he knew any of those people personally. He just knew Xavier well and knows him well and still does, and he had a lot of good things to say about Iowa State. So then we were talking about that, and it turns out he's a PIO. He's a public information officer for a police department as well.
Like Paul Parizek is here in Des Moines.
Yeah, like Paul Parizek. And so we just started talking about that, and then I'm looking over and my wife is rolling her eyes at me as I'm getting into work talk basically on
Right.
vacation. But it was just kind of fun, and he had a lot of questions about Iowa State football, and we talked about the draft for a while, and it made me think of many of the other times that I've run into random people around the world that I somehow had a connection to, and it's just always kind of funny because you think at times you're like, oh my God, this planet is so big, and I'm a grain of sand on the world's beach, right? But all of a sudden you run into somebody that it's just crazy coincidence that they could be in the same place as you at that time. And then you're reminded that no, actually we do have more connections to the rest of the world than we think.
I was in Italy once, and somebody came up to me and said, "I know you, Ed Wilson." I never understand.
I hope you ran with that.
How somebody gets or I'll get asked the weather forecast quite a bit,
Yeah.
and I just usually say, "Oh, it looks nice," and today it looks pretty nice. All right, my high is just a simple thing of let's not hurry the summer, but it is nice to know football will be back soon. I mean, football as most of us think about it. NFL just announced the Hall of Fame game for July 31st. It's the Lions and Chargers on NBC. So that game will be on WHO 13. But that was my high today, is just the reminder that the NFL will be here soon. And we know this because the draft is tomorrow night. We'll get to that here in just a moment. But first, interact with others on YouTube. You can email us, Murph_Andy at iowaeverywhere.com. On X, it's Murph_Andy. And it is all powered by the Cellular Advantage, proud partner of U.S. Cellular since 1993. And
I would just say, and about Cellular Advantage, U.S. Cellular, you remember when you would go out of the country and you just you couldn't use your phone at all. You couldn't do anything with it.
And I've got mixed feelings about that because there was something really freeing about that too.
But you know what I mean? It's like a text message was $5 and a phone call was 10. It was and sometimes you just needed to use it, right? I mean, you needed to check back at home. You got kids. I've got kids at home, and that.
Yeah, it is definitely different, like in your situation now, where you're trying to check
connected.
on your kids.
Yeah, absolutely. You just see you're so connected, and I'm happy to have that now.
Aiden, are you playing hurt today? I think I hear a strained voice out of you. How are you doing?
Might be a flu game.
This is your
you got
flu
a flu game?
No, not quite. Not quite. This
Yeah.
is like if Jordan ever had like a hangnail, this is what we're working with today.
Oh,
Okay,
man,
well,
I'm sorry,
yeah,
Aiden.
And these colds that we're all getting are pesky. They linger. They stick around. It's not like a 2 or 3 day cycle. So, Aiden, thank you for jumping in for AD today. Who's got a family deal that he's taken care of. And let's get the buzz.
The Buzz. Brought to you by Logier Heating and Cooling.
NFL draft is tomorrow in Green Bay. Starts tomorrow. It's now a 3-day event. Andy, we go back far enough. Many of our viewers and listeners do too, to remember just those telephones and what looked like a cafeteria, and all of it happened in 1 day, and then it became 2 days, and now it's 3 days. And instead of no audience and no television, now it does a blockbuster rating, and there's like hundreds of thousands of people that gather around to watch this.
Yeah, I think the draft is in danger of I think it's hit critical mass here, right? I don't think that you can do anything more with it than this, and I'm sure the NFL isn't going to be satisfied. They're going to keep trying to make it bigger, but it is. I mean, they've moved it into Thursday. It goes all weekend long. They do it on location, so they make this giant rock concert out of the whole thing. And everybody's good with that. They all want to get the draft at their place. I mean, we all have seen what it's done for cities like Nashville, and Green Bay will be a huge turnout. The weather won't matter. But I don't want them. I don't know where you go from here, right? How do you make it bigger than this? I'm sure the NFL is asking itself that question. I don't want it to get bigger than this. I do kind of miss the days. I certainly miss the days where it was just on the weekend, right? Where you could sit down. I could sit down, and nostalgically, I have a, it has a special place in my heart because my dad and I used to sit and watch it all day on Saturday, and that's just, long gone those days. But you could consume the whole thing in one sitting. And I do miss, I miss that. Now you basically have to plan. If you were trying to consume as much as we used to, you'd have to carve out 3 days basically to do that. So I hope that they don't, I don't know. What else could they do? Put it on the moon or something? Or they, make it a week-long event?
Yeah, they could go around
two
the
weekends.
day, I guess.
Yeah. And I kind of don't want that because I want to be able to, I mean, there's something nice about just going to a movie, right? Where you consume the whole thing and it's not a Netflix series that you have to, weather a 1-2 slow episodes to get into the meat of it. You want to just get the whole thing going.
Yeah, and it is for the most part kind of a boring event, but
it is, because it's a technical event, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it's a bunch of work by the general managers and scouts.
It's a lot of waiting around. A longtime NFL assistant, that's how he's described by Tom Pelissero, is a longtime NFL assistant. He has really thrown some shade at Colorado quarterback Shedeur Sanders, who just had his number retired. Quote, "Worst formal interview I've ever seen in my life. He's so entitled. He takes unnecessary sacks. He never plays on time. He has horrible body language. He blames teammates. But the biggest thing is he's not that good." That is a longtime NFL assistant. An NFL executive says, quote, of Shedeur Sanders, "He wants to dictate what he's going to do and what's best for him. He makes you feel small." These are bad reviews for Shedeur Sanders, who is really accurate throwing the football. What was he, 74% or so, and pretty much has every Colorado record book in this passing era of football. But there's kind of two ways to look at this. You can hear these quotes and think, well, it's because it's Deion's son. They're just hating on him. They're throwing shade at him. And then you can also go back through some of the quarterbacks who there were these kind of things said about that ended up being some truth to it, like Kyler Murray, Josh Rosen, Cam Newton, Jameis Winston, Ryan Leaf.
They said that about Josh Rosen?
Well, they said he was injury prone or that he wouldn't be durable. Yeah. These are different. I'm saying different kinds of concerns.
Yeah. Right. Well, nobody gets picked apart more than the first round quarterbacks.
Absolutely.
I mean, they like put them under a microscope like nobody else.
Johnny Manziel, there were maturity concerns. Those
should have
proved
been
to be true.
More concerns about him, or at least they should have taken them more seriously. For everybody, though, the alarm bells went off and teams, proceeded with caution. There's somebody that, for everyone that was really, well-founded, there's something, there's another story of somebody who, Joe with the small hands.
Joe Burrow.
God, far.
Dan Marino.
Oh, yeah.
Free fell in the draft. And there were,
Brett
five other
Favre
quarterbacks taken
yeah.
in front of Marino because
Yes.
there were cocaine or drug whispers out there.
Randy Moss, everybody. I mean, he could have, probably should have been the first overall pick in that draft, and he fell way down because of, problems that he had. And I mean, those looked, pretty legitimate at the time, right? I mean, he was connected with some bad people, but just turned out that he was so stinking good on the field, it didn't matter.
Baker Mayfield. There were maturity concerns, but he's kind of put those to rest. He seems as though he's grown up and become a good leader, and he's a good quarterback. He's not a great quarterback. He's not in that upper tier, but he's a good quarterback. Another example of how you can overthink this is C.J. Stroud. He reportedly did awful on what is the new version of the Wonderlic test. It's supposed to especially identify how quarterbacks quickly process information, meaning reading defenses and knowing the playbook, that kind of thing. And he reportedly bombed on that, but then he went out and had a fantastic rookie season. So you never know. But this Shedeur Sanders stuff is interesting. WrestleMania 41. Quickly here, ratings up 114%. This was the most watched WrestleMania ever, and it's really just an excuse to get to a quickie poll from WCI Pools and Spas in Ames and Urbandale, because I'm having trouble believing this many grown adults besides Mark Freund and Chris Williams watch this, but it was tens of millions of people, and the arena could not have been more packed. So, this is our poll today. Do you watch pro wrestling? Do you watch it? Are you involved? Do you follow it? Simple yes or no. Yes or no. Andy, I'm a no.
Well, I'm a no. That's a lot. I mean, do you watch it? I mean, I think a lot of people might say they watch it, but I don't know. Following it, like, how do you follow pro wrestling? I mean, what do you follow?
Ask
that?
Freund. Yeah, I mean, he gets in depth on the character
They have
development.
stats and stuff for pro wrestling, takedowns and
John Cena's now a
pins
17-time world champion. You know how much it takes to win the world championship 17 different times? That's impressive.
that's a long career, first of all. But I mean, I don't. Honestly though, I do kind of feel like I need to try it. Like maybe I need to go. If somebody has a ticket and they, it comes, it's been at Des Moines, right? It wasn't in Des
I
Moines,
went to
not the biggest.
AEW
Okay,
last summer.
All right, now what?
I'm a college wrestling guy.
Yeah,
Not
no,
really a pro wrestling guy.
that's real wrestling.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
yeah,
once-
be careful here. We don't want people coming
that's
at us.
Totally different.
No, yeah.
All right, so were you a fan before you went of pro wrestling?
No, not at all.
Okay, what did you think about being taken to when you went to this event? What did you think, Aiden?
I was a little skeptical at first, but once Chris Williams told me, don't think of it as wrestling, just think of them as actors and athletes. And then I was like blown away because they're like freak athletes doing all of this stuff. I thought it was pretty cool, but
They are. There's no doubt they have skill.
They're like Cirque du Soleil, basically.
Yeah, that's how I looked at it.
I mean, it's entertainment and they're athletes. I mean, those guys
took
are
it at face value. So
May 2nd, they are at Wells Fargo Arena. Maybe we need to check this out. Would you go?
Yeah, I would go. I would check it out. You might spot me with a critical look on my face. No guarantees there, but you might see some eye rolls. But I might have, the first time I went to first time I went to a NASCAR race, I felt that way. First time I went to a Grateful Dead concert, I felt that way. First time where you just like, everybody's talking about how fun something is, and you're like, I don't know, you guys. And then you go, and you're like, oh, okay.
I get it now.
I get it. Yeah, there's more to it, or there's just something about, and especially something that's like a live event, right? Where you have to. I mean, you can only get so much from watching it on TV.
You need the energy of the crowd.
Yeah, you've got to be in the arena, the energy of the crowd, and have 360-degree vision, right? Where you can. You're not just getting the TV box view of the whole thing. So I would try it. Now, am I standing standing in a line to wait to get tickets? No, I'm not doing that. But I would go. I think it would be fun. Can you take kids to this, or does it get really obscene?
There are kids there.
That's not what I asked. Can a responsible parent take their kids there?
I'm not sure how to answer that. I don't know. I mean, I suppose it'd be like the parents that bring their 5 and 6-year-old kids to the RVTV late newscast at 10 p.m. on a school night. I mean, you could do it, but you probably shouldn't. They should probably be home in bed.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Well, because I was thinking it would be fun. I think Eddie would like it.
Oh, I bet he would. And to be clear, so there's no confusion out there, if this is your thing, Mark Freund, Chris Williams, enjoy yourself. I never understand the people that hate on something so much that they want to keep you from doing it too. I don't care. This is great. It's just like music genres. If we don't like the same thing, that's okay. We don't have to. But I don't have to tear it down. I just don't get this, but I'll keep an open mind and see if Aiden's experience could be our experience, like going in and going, oh, yeah, this is like seeing a comedy show or a live play. Try it.
Yeah. I would go for the spectacle, right?
All right.
I mean, I'm always up for a spectacle. Car crash, WWE. I want to know. You know who I am. I mean, you got. Yeah. Somebody has a sex tape that gets leaked out into the internet. I'll watch. I'll check it out. I mean, anything. Yeah. I mean, what was it? Robert Kraft. I said I would watch that. I want to see. I just want to see what's going on.
Have you seen that? You haven't seen that, have you?
No.
I'm surprised.
No, they put the lid on that. I'm surprised too. You and I.
Well, he has a lot of money.
I think we were guaranteeing the audience that would come out at some point. We were wrong.
Yeah, wrong about that. NBA playoff ratings are way up. Now this is gonna swim upstream to what some people think. The most watched playoff opening weekend in 25 years just happened. 7 of the 8 games up from last year on opening weekend, and certainly got an Easter Sunday bump on those Sunday games. But I think that kind of goes against what you're hearing. Like, nobody watches the NBA. People are watching, and there's some good matchups. And I watched like the Lakers beat the Timberwolves last night. This has become kind of a fun series to watch. Luka Doncic was outstanding in this game. But Anthony Edwards is what I wanted to run by you here, because he's been in the more segment as well as the sports, but he's been fine.
He's won the Sperminator 2020. He won the Sperminator Award for 2024.
Yeah, he's won the NBA Sperminator Award. And he has now been fined this year $370,000. Now, he's got the money, but, actually, he needs that money for quite a few different child
the
support
money
payments.
he has is earmarked.
Yeah,
say that.
He's got a lot of distributions going out. But anyway, he's been fined $370,000. The most recent one, $50,000 for the Timberwolves game at L.A. a couple of days ago. He yelled at a Lakers fan on live TV, quote, "My dick bigger than yours." $50,000. Too much? Not enough?
I mean,
Do you believe him?
I know it works. You know, I mean, it may be more potent than everybody else's. I mean, he's got some hard evidence to back it up. But
Yeah, he's got some
is that what he's
swimmers.
saying right there? That's what he's
Yep.
right in the middle of my dick is bigger than yours.
Not
Is that what he's
there's no
saying right
verb.
there? My dick bigger than yours? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. This is the moment, Aiden. This is the moment of the
Yeah,
fine.
Yep, right there.
He's about. Excuse me,
yeah.
I'm sitting on the ground here. He's making an M sound with his mouth. So he's about to
Say
my
my.
dick bigger than yours. Yeah, he's just beginning that. And the other guy he's really got his teammates full attention there.
Yeah, well, yeah, that'll do it. And he's so much fun to watch. Oh my gosh, he had a dunk last night that back in our childhood it would become a poster that you would put on your wall. I don't know if do they. Aiden, did you have posters up?
You remember I interned at that company, and that was out of
Yeah.
St. Louis. Yeah,
Yeah,
MarketCom. Yeah, MarketCom Sports Illustrated posters.
that was such a big deal when you'd order a
huge.
poster and it would come in. Aiden, was this part of your childhood? Did you have posters on the wall?
I was just like strictly Iowa State posters, pretty much.
Oh,
just like
jeez.
the regular. But
Shoot,
in college, I did have
Like the
Michael
ones they
Jordan
give
poster.
out when you go to meet the
Not
players
like
or the schedule. What did you have up?
Yeah, what you just got all the
pretty much
giveaway posters and
Yep.
you put them up on your
Yeah.
wall.
Yeah, 100%. Yep.
The budget poster plan. That's all right. That's your team. That was your team, and then that was your school. The Athletic, where Iowa Everywhere Scott Docterman works and does an outstanding job. The Athletic had a private or secret anonymous player poll, and then a bunch of players participate in it. And the most overrated player in the NBA, according to other players, is Tyrese Halliburton, which is interesting because he's so dang good. What do you think is, because if you go through the player poll results, I think you'll probably agree with most of the choices, like MVP, most underrated player, best defensive player. I do.
I've
think
heard
the
Trey
players,
Young come up in that before.
I have too. Do you think is Tyrese Halliburton's abilities certainly are not
Well,
overrated? Do other players think he's not cool, or that he's cheesy, or that he smiles too much, or what?
I mean, we know Tyrese Halliburton, and I
He's a
think
good
he's
dude.
a really good dude. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think he's a really likable guy. I think it probably has something to do with how he's promoted, or honors that he's been given. Did
Olympic team
did he make
resentment,
it?
maybe?
Did he? Yeah, I think. Yeah, did he make the Olympic team ahead of some other players who other NBA players thought should have gone before him? I don't know. Usually, these overrated things have something to do with that stuff, right? I mean, how somebody has been they've been given something that makes other players jealous, and that's the problem. It's not really, I don't know that they can put their finger on public sentiment. It's usually something, something material.
Yeah, Aiden, you know what's driving this at all? Have you heard any whispers of why other players, or at least enough
Feels just
players to
like-
make him win by a margin?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you guys said it without actually saying it. It
Does
feels
he
like
have a
it's
shoe?
thing.
How about that? I was just looking
He
at
does not
Aiden's
have a shoe.
shoe collection. He doesn't have a shoe. That is something that
Cool points if you have a shoe.
could
It's true.
could raise the hackles on other players. Yeah, if he gets a shoe and they didn't.
What are you saying? We're saying the not
I
quite
think
saying.
it's just an ego thing. I'm sure
Okay.
there are definitely some guys upset that he made the Olympic team and won a gold medal.
It could be that. Grand Blue Mile was last night, and that included the 1 mile road championship. And what
How
a
was the
field!
weather?
The weather was great. Monday and Tuesday have been good.
Yeah, you
It
want
was
to plan a
cool.
wedding in April, make it on the Monday or Tuesday of Drake Relays Week. It's always beautiful.
This Grand Blue Mile night has become, in some ways, like one of the, in some ways, like the big night of the Drake relays because there's so much attention. And then you get this field in the Grand Blue Mile where you have two-time Olympian Carissa Schweitzer from Urbandale and Dowling Catholic. You have Shelby Houlihan back from the 4-year ban for eating a burrito. And they're in this race and they don't even win. Chrissy Gear wins. The first 5 runners set the 1 mile course record in 4 minutes, 24 seconds. If you know your track and field, that is a blistering fast time. And here are the top. Well, here's Gear, the winner, then Schweitzer, and then Shelby Houlihan, who finished 4th in this race.
The record just cheer on top. I was like, get to that finish line first. You know, like I'm in the field of so many good runners, especially so many great kickers too, that I'm like, if I pass them, like there's no chance of coming back. So I'm like, go, make it hard for me to come back.
It was so fun to be able to run a road mile in the streets of Des Moines. Like that's just a dream for me. So it was really, really cool. I grew up like coming and watching this race, and to be one of the ones fighting for the win at the end was just such a surreal experience. And I'm really happy with where I'm at right now in the season. And this is my opener, and yeah, this is great.
Gosh, that last 400, I could see the finish line. I was like, please get here already. I'm dying here. But I mean, it was such an awesome race. It was perfect conditions tonight. So it's like, I did everything I could, so I'm proud of myself. And, you know, 3 other women were faster than me, and that's awesome. So kudos to them.
Man, a blistering 1 mile field there. And in the men's race, Vince Ciate, who's already won it twice, this is his 3rd win. He runs 3:55, which,
well, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah, they just wanted it under 4 minutes, and now it's becoming like every year somebody's under 4 minutes.
Are you feeling the way I do when I watch that video? I'm a little self-conscious about the pavement in downtown Des Moines. let's come on, let's fix those damn cracks.
Do we have pothole? What if Schweitzer like turned her ankle in a pothole?
Are you going to do this every year? Let's fix those damn streets up a little bit more. I don't want, you know, these world-class runners.
You willing to trade
shit about our
traffic
streets?
snag? I mean, do you want to close down Grand Avenue?
It's the only thing that Drake Relays really has going well right now. I mean, it's really, this is growing. Look at that.
Look at the crowd there.
That's a big crowd. I mean, the runners like it. The weather works out every year. It just keeps getting bigger. Fix those damn streets.
Also, all of these women look like they could stand a meal. I mean, they're so lean.
They are fit,
goodness.
Man. They got a body, that is way low body fat. Yeah,
high level.
Give them a shot of beer and they'd be hammered.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, that's not going to be the case with you today. Confluence, speaking of beer, is... Oh, hang on. We have a joke. But hold the beer for a second there, Aiden. Forgot. Here's an oldie but good.
I wanted a joke. I'd follow you into the bathroom and watch you take a leak.
Try this one out then.
They said you sounded like an owl.
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Sounded like an owl?
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean?
You sounded like an owl. That's what they said.
Who?
They said you sounded like an owl.
Owl?
Mm-hmm.
Who?
Jordan, they said you sounded like an owl.
Who?
Ada, you can rock the resort with that one today if you want. It's free.
I'm going to use it. Yeah, I can't wait to tell that to
no charge
to Eddie. He reads joke books.
He'll like this
as
one.
Literature. Yeah.
You just have to be really sincere.
They say you
and
sound
concerned.
like an owl. Who?
Confluence.
And then what do you just say nothing after that? Or do you say, I got you? There you go. I got you.
It slowly comes. All
right, serve up the Confluence, Aiden.
Official beer of Murph and Andy is Confluence, where good things come together. And Andy is not having a Confluence, but not out of lack of desire.
I am separated from my Confluence. It is not possible for me to travel with Confluence. You can't do that.
So do they have Modelo where you are? Because that is now the best-selling beer in America.
I mean, do they have it at the resort? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so. Yep.
But you're going Corona.
These are the ones that are in their refrigerator in the room. So I grabbed one of those.
Same.
And, yep. And now I'm wishing I grabbed 2 of them because this one's gone.
Did you first turn the temperature as high as it can possibly go? Because it's usually set low in the room, in the refrigerator.
I like it cold, but you have in the refrigerator. Yeah, I crank that thing all the way down. Yeah, because like one thing you realize when you travel the world is that Americans consume beverages differently than everybody else.
Correct.
I mean,
Yeah,
first
we
of
have
all,
it right.
We use a shitload of ice, and nobody else does.
I know.
We consume huge beverages.
You ask for
Huge.
ice in Europe, they give you like 1 cube in your glass.
Yeah, you're like what? Yeah,
What?
right. Yeah.
What's the point of this? Do you have the hanging bottles
Do the hanging bottles
in the room? Yeah, the hanging liquor bottles in your room. Do you have
No.
those?
No,
You
don't have those. No.
Those I always like the idea of those, but never really end up actually using.
It's like
them anyway.
you guys 10 steps to the bar. I did bring my kit though.
To make drinks.
Yes.
Why? You have somebody there to make them for you.
And I also stopped at the duty-free shop.
Oh, I'll bet
Hayden,
you did.
you like
What?
to stop at the duty-free shop?
Like to make a stop at the
I like
duty-free
to stop
shop.
at the duty-free shop. I got a bottle of Maker's Mark. First of all, it's a good deal. You can get the full liter. And no, I got to
Don't
make
you have
some
to
good
like
old
check it
fashions.
in some special place or something? Or you mean when you
No.
landed?
When I landed, I got it at the
Okay.
duty-free shop in Cancun. But it's weird. They check your passport and your boarding pass. Why?
At the duty free shop?
Yeah, at the duty free shop. Make sure
They're
you're
just
just not
stealing
some
your
schmo
information.
that walked
Yeah.
in off the street or something. But I brought my kit so I could do some spinning here, so I can make
That's
some good
good.
drinks. But I'm pleasantly surprised. A number of the bartenders know how to make a few drinks that I didn't think that they would know how to make. So we're off and running.
Good. Let's get some more then.
But wait, there's more. From Either Or Eatery and Patio.
Speaking of either or eatery and patio, a really nice review from a website called onlyinyourstate.com. There's only in Missouri, only in Minnesota, only in Iowa, and in only in Iowa, there are these travel bloggers that write all kinds of articles about stuff to do for travel. It's like a TripAdvisor website almost, but they called Either Or the best family restaurant in Iowa. And there you go. You can kind of see that. Only in Iowa. Restaurant in Iowa is perfect for families. And they say that Either Or is the best restaurant for families in this entire state. They've got all these really nice pictures of the playground out there and the patio, and then also there you go. There's some pictures. Thank you, Aiden. He's scrolling through those. But then they get into like the actual dining options and that stuff, saying, hey, it's not just a fun place for kids. It's also got a really top shelf menu, and they do.
Nice.
Great cocktails as well. Las Vegas. It's weird. I was watching Conclave, the movie, on the plane the way down here. Man, that is just like spot on for right now. I mean, it's a recent movie. That's
It's one of
exactly
the
what's
great
going on.
Accidental promotions in
Yeah.
the history of a streaming release. The same week that the Pope dies, the Conclave was already scheduled to be released.
And
remarkable.
you feel like it's just like very current with you. So, but Las Vegas has got a line on who the next Pope will be, because of course they do. There's no question. Here you go. The betting odds have been fluctuating wildly over the past 24 hours. The leader right now, the betting favorite. Let me see if I can find him on here.
You can bet on this.
You
correct?
can. Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
Put money on it. Yep.
It's not just for fun.
I mean, is it just for fun? I do you find this fun? I hope you have something else in your life that's more fun than this. But
yeah.
I mean, crowds gather. It's a spectator sport. It really is, picking the Pope.
Yeah.
So of
Waiting
course
for the
there would be
smoke.
betting odds. A guy named Cardinal Pietro Parolin.
Let's find his picture here.
I don't see his pic. I don't see him on there. He's he's a plus 188. Luis Antonio Tagli is a plus 300. Do you see him on there?
Oh yeah, I think there's a bottom right might be your two guys so far. We don't see their names. They're tucked under the Either Or logo.
The guy at the bottom right, the black guy, is not Pietro Paroli. I don't think that's Pete or something.
I thought maybe that was the pronunciation in Italy or something.
Right,
Okay.
yeah, well, it would be. Yeah. And then Matteo Zuppi.
Matteo Zuppi?
Yeah, Pope Zuppi. Pope Matteo. Well, but they all pick a different name once they become Pope. That's kind of like this would be the last time you actually hear their real first and last name. He's plus 700.
Plus 700.
Yeah. The Tiger King, Joe Exotic. Look, that's all you got to say to me, and I'm in. Like, just say his name. I'm like, oh, okay, I want to know what comes next.
Reminder of the first binge event of the COVID era. Like, suddenly everybody was saying, "Are you watching Tiger King?" And you started watching, like, what in the hell is going on here?
You wasted your life. I mean, we all wasted our lives.
Oh, yeah.
And with that, because
it goes downhill fast.
It goes downhill, and you're just like, man, I inhabit the same planet as these people.
Yes.
I mean, you could be feeling great about yourself, and then you watch that.
These people can vote?
Yeah. Yes. These people are drawing the same breaths of air that I am. Joe Exotic, as he goes by, he is a lot of things. A lot. He's a lot of things, including now he's a newlywed. He's still doing time for plotting the murder of Carol Baskin, but that hasn't kept him from finding love behind bars. He has married a guy who is doing time for immigration crimes.
This photo here is
the
his
happy
husband.
couple.
See, I thought at first when you put this up, I thought he found a way to marry one of these tigers.
No, and also it makes prison look not so bad, right? I mean, at some point these guys were able to get tuxedos and boutonnieres and matching white baseball caps. He also looks like he's had some. Doesn't he look like he's had some Botox? I mean, Joe Exotic is no spring chicken.
It could be a filter of some kind, which I still don't understand how these filters work. Like, I see photos occasionally, and one of the people in the family is able to use a filter, but no one else is filtered. And I don't even get how you would do that.
Just like zero in on one face. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
what do you do? How do you do that, and why would you do it?
now, the Tiger King, he is not doing a hard enough time. I'm sorry.
He looks healthier.
Yeah. No, man. I mean, but come on, man. I mean, this guy is a massive criminal. He's terrible. He should be doing way harder time than this. He can't be getting married. You can't be. That's not hard enough time if he can rent a tux. I mean,
yes.
Who can rent a tux in prison?
Are they letting him out for his honeymoon? And is he at your purple resort?
God, I hope not.
Yeah, me too.
I feel like I would know.
Yeah,
Buzz
you'd hear
would
the tigers
make its way through the crowd. All right, from the files of Some Headlines Don't Need Stories, we bring you this. Staten Island sex toy fire destroys home of 88-year-old woman. Fortunately, it is not quite what you think. Thank God. A Staten Island man has been arrested after allegedly setting fire to a pile of sex toys in his backyard. And the fire got out of control, led to a blaze that damaged 3 homes and left an 88-year-old woman homeless. Harry Torres told police he'd used a bunch of lighter fluid to set the toys on fire to try to get rid of DNA evidence for some reason. Authorities have charged Torres with reckless endangerment and arson. Yeah. The lighter fluid is usually not a good idea. You can go on the internet and watch, campfire fails or backyard barbecue fails where some guy has used gasoline or too much lighter fluid and then he, puts a match to it. It's just this towering inferno.
A few weeks ago, the Moore team had that video of someone who had stacked all their fireworks under that truck. Remember that?
The bottle rocket flew in there.
Yeah, the whole neighborhood is going up.
Just blew up. Everybody
it's like a Michael Bay movie.
He's just running inside. Yeah. All right. So anyway, that got a little out of control. Poor woman. She got a good story out of it, at least. That's your more, everybody.
All right. Grimaldi's fan photos can be sent to Murph_Andy at IowaEverywhere.com. presented by
Yeah, that
Grimaldi's.
photo does not count as an entry in the Grimaldi's contest.
No, Grimaldi's coal-fired brick oven pizza. You stop by the West Des Moines or District at Prairie Trail Ankeny locations. It could have been confusing, though, because of the coal-fire brick oven. You see that place that looked like it was burned to the ground, but these are two different things. So $50 gift card to a winner coming up Friday. So we'll give that away Friday. You still have time to send in some photos to Murph_Andy at iowaeverywhere.com. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Mike Woody, Mr. Movie.
It's time to go to the movies with Mr. Movie, Mike Woody. Presented by P&P Small Engines.
Since 1976, P&P Small Engines has been taking care of the needs of Central Iowans everywhere. So thank you, P&P Small Engines, our friend Jeff, and good to have you with us here, Mr. Movie.
You know, I graduated from high school in 76, so...
Yeah, so it's a long, long time for a business to be open.
Well, that tells you how old Jeff is.
Oh, yeah, it's a
I
good
think he's
point.
been running it since then, Mr. Movie.
It can't be. No. He didn't open that when he was in kindergarten.
No.
Well,
he might have been thinking about it. He might have been thinking about it at that point, but he didn't run.
Out of the box topic today. It's broad, and there's so many different directions and choices you could make. But it's a movie about friendship. At its core, you think of it as a movie about friendship. Not necessarily the best movie, but just our favorites off the top of our head. A movie about friendship, and I'm picking one I'm sure a lot of you think of immediately. And it comes to mind, and it's the Shawshank Redemption, because ultimately it is the friendship between Andy and Red. And you have to look back or remember back to the first time you saw this, when you didn't know what direction it was going in, and you didn't know what Andy was doing when he was actually escaping. But Red was so concerned and scared, and the friendship had humanized him again. And then to think back before you knew how the plot of this movie, you just don't know what's going on or how they could possibly reconnect. And you follow all these breadcrumbs and clues, and it all makes sense. And you got one of the best movie endings ever, with just the two of them walking toward each other on the beach. And you just know these friends are going to make a life of it together, just being pals. And I love it.
Now, Andy Dufresne did some hard time.
He did, yeah. Some real hard time.
Yeah.
The sisters.
Oh, man. They were.
That's hard to watch.
Boggs got his, though.
He did.
His. Yeah.
It's such a great movie, though. It's just
wonderful movie.
The cast is perfect. It just, there's nothing you can pick apart of that movie.
And this movie came out at a time where I was going to movies all the time. And I would go to movies I would just go with friends and sometimes not know what the movie was about or if it was any good. These days and lately I've had to make more educated choices or try to, but I didn't have any idea what I was getting into, and I didn't know it was based on a Stephen King short story. And once you see the movie, the title makes sense. But on the marquee that opening weekend, we didn't have any idea what it meant or what it was about. And Mike, it probably hurt the money made while this was in theaters, because it was only later on video and cable that it became this beloved hit.
Right. Yeah. People had no idea what Shawshank Redemption, what does that mean? It didn't sound like something you wanted to see.
The short story was Rita Hayworth and the Shawshank Redemption. And Rita Hayworth is one of the many posters that goes up there and is put up on the wall, and also has led to the question, when he escaped, how did he put the poster back up on the wall? Like, how would you get your hands out to put the poster on the wall?
I kind of saw this movie in the same way that you did, Murph. I mean, back in a time where you just went, it was a new movie and you wanted, or
Right.
just going to a movie was something you did. And then you were like, okay, we're going to a movie. And then you're like, okay, which movie? You decided to go to the movie before you picked the movie. That's something of another era, I feel like now. I mean, now you you know what you pick the movie and then you decide to go and see it. But that's how I saw it too. We didn't know anything about it going in. We watched it, and I remember thinking it was good, but that's a movie that to me got better with repeated viewings.
Yeah, you've got to watch it a couple of times to pick up on a lot of that stuff.
Andy, friendship movie.
I'm going to go with Swingers. I love this movie because I think it's Jon Favreau is obviously so good with stories, and I like the friendship aspect here in this movie because it kind of runs the gamut. They get pissed at each other. They get in big fights. I think they almost get physical fights with each other, and then they come full circle. They come back around. Mike is really sick of all these guys and, or a number of these guys he's really sick of. And he just, he's depressed. They're trying to make him feel better and he doesn't want to accept it. And they get mad at him. And then, when he's just at his lowest, his one friend, Ron Livingston, kind of comes back and he's there for him, right? To pick him up, comes to his apartment, brings him a sandwich and picks him up. And then he, kind of gets back, reunites with the other friends. And you're just like, okay, that's like real life. I mean,
feels
that's
real.
The way it feels really real. Yeah. You do that with good friends. You're not always happy with them. You get in real big fights with them sometimes and really say things that you regret, but it's your friendship that gets you through that kind of stuff, right? And allows you to forgive and forget. And then usually these guys, I would believe, like as in real life, you go through that kind of stuff, you come out on the other end stronger, better friends.
Mike, did you like Swingers?
Yeah, I did. I didn't love it, but I only saw it once. I think repeated viewings will bring it up in your score.
Yeah, I have not seen. I've probably seen it 3 times, but Andy knows this. The answering machine scene where he keeps leaving the message, it just gets increasingly uncomfortable. I have so much secondhand embarrassment. It's hard for me to sit through that scene, but it's just Favreau is fantastic.
It's a hard movie watching
Oh.
through his eyes. Yeah,
Yeah.
Mike. You're just like, oh my God, this guy's just taking a beating this whole
Yeah.
movie. But at the end, he suddenly seems like he's in the best position of all these guys.
And Vince Vaughn, it's kind of his first in a series of similar roles where he's just the cocky guy that looks like he'd be a blast to hang out with. He's talking about money all the time. You're so money. It's a good movie. Mr. Movie, what's your choice for friendship?
I'm going to go with the other side of the coin. I mean, Andy's got the guys all hanging out together, having a good time. I'm going to go and see, I can't even get it out without laughing. I'm going to go with Bridesmaids. I mean, here's a movie full of people that you will recognize almost every single one of them as some of the funniest women you've ever seen.
Yes.
And this movie is, I mean, it's off the charts as far as I'm concerned. It's just crazy.
When Maya Rudolph plops down in the street, I mean, I about rolled out of my chair, and that's just one of many laugh out loud scenes. Melissa McCarthy, up on the sink,
which she's.
Oh,
you
my
first
goodness.
meet Melissa McCarthy, and she just tells that alarming story that
it's so funny.
She's really funny. Yeah, it's a funny movie.
So well done.
It's a bunch of humor that you usually only associate with men, like gross men being gross, and you're like, oh yeah, well, women are human also.
Yeah, women can be
Not
gross
that we
as well.
needed that reminder, but
Aiden, what do you have for friendship?
Well, you said we weren't picking the best movies, but best friendship movies. I am picking the best movie, though, and that's Tommy Boy.
I
One of
love
my
it.
all-time favorites.
Yeah, so this is in a similar vein to Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, where most of the movie, the two people can't stand each other because they're so different. What do you like about it?
I mean, I'm a big Chris Farley guy, so anything that he does, I just find hilarious. The scene that I pull up here, the oh my God, and all that stuff. And then, it ends up, they sell 500,000 brake pads, so
Yeah,
what's a better friendship story than that?
They saved the place. Mike, Tommy Boy, don't remember. Mr. Movie, probably something you didn't like.
Oh no, I loved it.
Oh, you did? See,
I'm the one who didn't like it.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's Andy.
That's
Yeah.
the mark right here.
Not so much here, not so much here, but right here.
It's one of my flat sides. There's no doubt about it. I think I'm the only one on the planet that didn't like this movie. But I don't like any Chris Farley movies, and which is crazy because I loved him on Saturday Night Live. Loved him. Love watching Chris Farley stuff. I just didn't like his movies.
I did love Tommy Boy. Rob Lowe is also great in this.
Yeah.
Brian Dennehy is good in the time he's in it. Bo Derek. She's
yeah.
a 10. Yeah, it's I do think this is good. Fat guy in a little coat. There's so many good scenes in this. From our comments on YouTube, Marty Neighbors is surprised I didn't pick Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday. I thought I had to take a break from Tombstone.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
We
but how-
we took it away from him.
Yeah, we took it away. But
yeah.
how great is it when he's like, Wyatt Earp is my friend. Hell, I got a lot of friends. I don't.
Yeah, I
It's
love
ju- it-
that's
oh
a
my
great
gosh.
line. And in Stand By Me, the line at the end where Richard Dreyfuss is just like, he's talking about what happened to them all afterwards, and
Right.
he's just like, I never had friendships like I did when I was 13. Jesus, does anybody? And that's so true.
It is. That's outstanding. Greg with Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. That's a good choice. Cyclone Kathy, super bad. That's a fun. Mike, you couldn't get over the one scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just leave it at,
At
a
the party?
dance. Yeah,
the
dance.
dancing.
Yeah.
They didn't
Thelma and
need that.
Louise.
Died together. Yeah.
Rough ending. I mean, tough
no,
ending.
Prove their friendship.
Mr. Movie, what the box office this week? Sinners moved ahead of Minecraft, and Sinners is one of the best openings for an original movie in years. Just what the box office needed. Ryan Coogler, right? He's the director. He did Creed, and did he do what's this? Gosh, also with Michael B. Jordan. The Black Panther.
Black Panther.
He did Black Panther as well. Yeah. So did you see Sinners this week?
I did see Sinners. I saw it in the IMAX with my son and Sunday afternoon, and I don't understand what's everybody's raving about this movie, and
critics and audiences are raving.
I didn't get it, and Tom didn't get it. I mean, it is a uber violent movie about two twins, played both by the same guy, by the way.
It's Michael B. Jordan, right?
Michael B. Jordan. And they come back to their small town, where everybody's still picking cotton, and they open a bar, and it's going to be a honky-tonk bar, and there's, you name it, and you can get it there.
Does this take place in the past? I've seen the preview, but I couldn't tell what was going on.
Yeah, it was in the past.
Okay.
And then it just spins on a dime and turns into the bloodiest, most violent vampire movie you've ever seen.
This is a vampire movie? It looked like it might cross over into the horror genre. I didn't know it was a vampire movie.
Oh, yeah. Lots of vampires. Yeah.
People and critics love Sinners.
I know.
Not you, though.
I don't get it. I'm trying to read these reviews and see what did they see, or what did I see that they didn't see? Because I was miserable for the last half hour of the movie. It's just like, come on.
Okay, so what's your grade for Sinners?
I'm going to give it a D.
D.
Everybody's giving it A's and B's.
Right.
I'm going to give it. I just did not like it, and I'm a fan of vampire movies. But
If you're in the comments and you saw Sinners and you have an opinion that matches Mike's or goes the other way, please let us know what you thought of Sinners. What else did you see or review this week?
I saw, and only because a friend of mine brought it to my attention again the other night, a movie called King of Kings. It's an animated movie about the life of Jesus and the apostles and all the stuff that goes with that. Done very, very well. It's a story that Mark Twain wrote, and they've adapted, and they've adapted it to an animated film to appeal to kids, and it was done really, really well. And it's very cute. Very, I just there's very few things about it I like or didn't like.
Nice.
So I mean, it's a good, solid B plus.
Good.
Yeah, and
Sounds
it's
like an A minus.
90 minutes. So I can give it an A minus if you'd feel better.
Yeah, let's go A minus. I mean,
Okay,
your
well,
review
let's go
sounded
A-
like an A
hang on,
minus.
Let me get a pencil here.
Yeah, please. Scott C. writes that Sinners takes place in 1932, and it's excellent. A minus from Scott C. See anything else this week? Any other reviews?
Nope, that was it.
All right, what's coming up? Accountant 2 is coming up.
Accountant 2. I was a big fan of Accountant 1, and
me too.
I need to see that. I haven't seen that. I've heard so many people say they like that.
And John Bernal, who plays his brother, he's back, and he's always good.
Yeah, he is, and I believe he plays a more prominent role in Accountant 2. Andy, I don't remember if it's Netflix or Prime, but somebody to match the opening of Accountant 2. It is streaming right now.
Okay.
All right. You can watch it. I think it's Prime Video that has it.
It might be.
I could download that and watch it on the plane. Yeah.
Yeah, because Accountant 2 is really good. What else is opening?
We've got surprisingly another horror film called Until Dawn, and then you guys are too young for this, and probably I am as well. But Cheech and Chong's last movie.
I've seen some Cheech and Chong movies, and I
Up
laugh.
in Smoke
wow.
is a classic. I love that. And then they got stupid, but I mean the Up in Smoke is a comedy gold classic.
I was working at the Astro Theater in Iowa City when it opened, so
Is that still open?
Well aware. The Astro Theater is gone.
What Andy, what's the line about
Hey,
wooden
double
balls?
bubble, huh?
Wooden balls.
Oh yeah. Hey man, you want to get high? Does Howdy Doody have a wooden dick? What does he say?
I don't know. You're right though. Up in Smoke was good. Like Nice Dreams, which was an ice cream truck. That was terrible.
Dumb,
but
yeah.
like many of the people, that was when I was working at a movie theater, and those would come out, and like the crowd that would come to see it, I don't think they cared. They were predisposed to laugh. They were ready.
They had the giggles, right?
They came primed for the movie.
All right, and Mr. Movie is the event over at Palms done? The preview?
I think, and I had a meeting with Russ today, and he actually talked to people that saw the first one. I think the second one is maybe tonight.
Okay.
Or tomorrow.
6:00, I believe.
Yeah. And he said people came out of it and they were like, oh my God, this was great.
Yeah, we talked about it quite a bit last week, but I think it's $3 to get in, and the money goes to a couple of charities, and you get to see, I believe it's like 70 or 75 minutes of previews of 6 or 7 of the studio's big movies.
Studios who sent exclusive scenes from upcoming movies, so you can really get a behind scenes look at what's coming up.
Yeah, just check the Palms Theater website for more information if you're interested in that.
You can register to win a golden ticket, which will get you in any Fridley theater in the state, and that alone would be worth going for.
I think you have one of those.
My ticket is orange.
All right.
That's all I can tell you.
Thanks, Mr. Movie.
All right, guys. See you next week.
Enjoy the movies. That is Mike Woody, Mr. Movie, presented by P&P Small Engines. Andy, I can tell your back's starting to bother you, isn't it?
I'm sitting on the ground. I'm sitting on a folded towel here. So yeah, it's it is hurting. Yep.
All right. Sorry
that's
about
all right.
that.
Yeah. Does Howdy Doody got wooden balls, man? No, that's what Cade corrected me there. That's what he said.
Okay. That's Cade Murphy?
Yeah, Cade Murphy watching that kind of trash.
Jeez, Cade. How does Cade know that? I don't know. He'll always be 5 years old to me. Time now
look at the parents.
For Throwdowns with Aiden.
Throwdowns. It's Throwdowns. Backed by Heartland Tire and Auto.
Heartland Tire and Auto. I'll take care of this. Treating you like family in Ankeny, Waukee, Knoxville, Boone, and Creston. Shout out Travis.
All right, Keith. College Football Playoff released their schedule for next season yesterday. How do you feel about Championship Monday per usual?
I don't like it. I feel like it got overlooked. It's right in the thick of the NFL playoffs. We've talked about this. Something needs to be moved up. Like, this is college football gets big-footed by the NFL to some degree. I realize it didn't for Ohio State fans and the people who really cared, but it was, to me, striking how quiet the buzz was on the Monday of the championship game. And what's kickoff? 6:30. Won't kick off at 6:30 Central Time. It'll be closer to 7 by the time they actually kick off. That means on the East Coast, you're losing kids for the second half. That's bad. There are some things on here I like you see the playoff quarterfinals coming up on New Year's Eve and New Year's. Good. The Rose Bowl game moved kickoff finally up an hour so that the Sugar Bowl doesn't end at 11:30 at night or midnight. That's all smart. That's good. The sunset can wait until after the fourth quarter instead of after the third quarter. But yeah, the Championship Monday, I think they got to figure this out.
Yeah, I don't like big sporting events on Monday nights. I just don't. I understand they're trying to make it a television. It's a television event. That's why it's there, trying to get the biggest audience. They know what they're doing. I like them to be on weekends, especially when that's the only game. Right? It's not like you're trying to cram a whole bunch of games at once. It's just that's it. That's the only game. Put it on a weekend so we can have a big celebration for it. Really sit down and watch it. We're not, it's a little different for me and Keith because we have to work at the time the game is on. Other people don't have to do that, but still, just having it away from the weekend to me just takes some of the wind out of the sails.
Yeah, I completely agree. Andy, Jock Peterson is 0 for his last 41 at the plate for the Texas Rangers. In your prime, how many at-bats would it take you to get on base in the major leagues?
I would lean into a pitch and to take one in the shoulder.
Yeah.
That's what I would do. Could I hit a major league pitcher at my peak? No, absolutely not. You don't realize what those pitches actually look like.
Oh.
Think of the nastiest stuff you ever saw in high school, and it's nowhere close to what these guys are bringing in the majors. Just like the change-ups that you ever batted against somebody that could really throw a good change-up? It freaks you out.
0 for 41. That's called swinging out of your shoes and trying to hit a home run on every pitch.
That's 41 outs, by the way. He's not taking a walk or anything like that. That's 41 consecutive outs.
Oh, that's incredible. In my prime, I played a lot of baseball. In my prime, I could not hit a major league pitcher, and I know that. I do believe in fewer than 20 at-bats, I would draw a walk. So, I'm 5'10", maybe a shade over. That's a smaller strike zone. I think somebody would walk me, and my best strategy would be to not swing the bat.
Just keep the bat on your shoulder the whole time.
Yeah. Or maybe try to bunt, but not kill myself.
All right, let's close it out here, Keith. I feel like we're in a spot where the temperatures are not going to be below freezing. Fingers crossed, knock on wood. My favorite smell of spring is I feel like every time I go outside after 5 p.m., I smell someone grilling now.
Yeah, that is your
favorite
that's
spring
awesome.
smell.
Ooh.
Your favorite spring smell, Murph?
That is a really good one. The one that hits me the most, even though when I'm not at a ballpark, if I smell grass, especially after rain when it's growing, it reminds me of a baseball field. And I feel like, baseball is here.
Mine are the lilacs. When we've got some bushes at work, and right out on along the parking lot, you park, and usually in late April, those things are just in full bloom, or early May, I guess, full bloom, and the smell is incredible. They don't last very long, so I always kind of wish they would, last for a whole month. It's usually just a few days, but that's easily my favorite spring smell.
What I like too is the the grill master at a barbecue or a deck you go over to, neighbor's house or something, and comes around and asks everybody, like, how you want your burger cooked? And like takes all these orders and then cooks them all exactly the same.
I thought you were going to say you just knew you were being taken care of by somebody who could really cook if they were going to that length.
I know it. All right, thank you, Aiden. Nice job. Aiden can barely talk, but this is his flu game. Time for the Andrew Downs audio drop of the day. We call it the AD squared. It's presented by Game Day Men's Health, helping men with steak. If you don't have enough steak and you need some tea, you can reclaim your passion and purpose with science-based treatments at Game Day Men's Health. All right, what do you have for us, Aiden?
I feel like both of you guys might have seen this by now, given that Murph, you sent it to be on the rundown. Andy wanted it more, but here it is in the AD squared. Let me get their names. Twin sisters Bridget and Paula Powers.
It's incredible.
It's mesmerizing.
Crazy.
I don't even know how to describe it any further, but
wait for the interview. Yep.
Witnesses are recounting some of the drama that unfolded on the Sunshine Coast this afternoon. Two sisters have told how their mother and man raced to help when the carjacked SUV rolled on Steve Irwin Way, only to find the gun-wielding car thief emerging from the wreck. Here's some of what they had to say.
And one guy, he was up there with our mum, and he went up there and he was coming back down towards us, and he goes, "Run, he's got a gun." And our heart started to pound, and I said, "Oh, Mum, where's Mum?" And poor Mum was stuck up there, but apparently our brave Mum, she goes, "Are you all right?" Because he had all blood all over his face. And he goes, "I'll shoot you." She goes, "Hey, I'm here to help."
And Mum distracted him to make him look the other way, and he looked the other way, and Mum ran
into the bush behind the fence. And the guy goes to her, "I'll find you and I'll shoot you." All I was thinking about when we were running, I hope he doesn't fire. Yeah, we were so blessed.
How close to him do you think you were?
Well, see, he was up there, and we were past our when you driveway. You don't think of all that at the time.
I can't take it anymore.
You just run for your safety.
Do they rehearse?
This sounds like a glitching Wi-Fi.
I know Sipker and Hassel think that they rehearsed this, but how could you? You don't know the questions.
And they're not even looking at each other. They are just...
Do they share a brain? They're not...
They're not conjoined twins.
No.
You see their independent arms. They're both obviously nurses, and they're look like pediatric nurses. They're wearing scrubs, I think. The anchor just has no idea what she's throwing to at that point. She got the deer in the headlights look, but oh my God.
So Andy, if you're the reporter there, do you send it back as soon as possible, or do you ask as many follow-up questions as possible to see how long they can keep talking the same?
Send it back as soon as possible. Because
really?
They sound like glitching Wi-Fi, don't they?
I thought it was AI because we're all hypersensitive to AI right now for the reasons we get. But it's not AI. It's
like, and one of them is taking the lead, and then at one point they switch, and the other one starts taking the lead. It's just, it sounds like mix minus, doesn't it, in your ear?
It does. Quickie poll results are presented by WCI Pools and Spas, and the question is about WWE and pro wrestling.
Yeah, do you watch or follow pro wrestling? And 85% say no. So this is definitely not... most of the audience isn't into this kind of stuff, but man, that 15%.
We should not start a pro wrestling segment. No. All right, I can hear the party has started there in Mexico where Andy is, so we got to turn him loose. Yeah, and let's give your back a rest too. Really appreciate you taking time out of your vacation, sincerely, and spending time with us today. This was fun. So thank you.
It was fun.
Aiden, get better soon, and thank you for having your flu show. We appreciate it. Nice job. Yeah, all right. Aiden can barely talk. We'd love it if you'd like and subscribe on YouTube or whatever platform you're watching or listening to Murph and Andy. We're back Friday. We hope you are too.